It's Movie Time is produced by John DeSando. Listen to the full shows and read reviews online at WCBE.org.
I'm John DeSando.
I'm Hope Madden.
And this is It's Movie Time. And here we go again. Didn't Disney start this stuff a couple of years ago?
Yeah, I think The Jungle Book was the first one.
Okay.
And The Jungle Book was great.
Okay.
It was a really good live action adaptation.
Okay.
But
and we've got Lion King coming out.
yeah, and Jon Favreau directed again, who did The Jungle Book, so that's a good
All right.
possibility.
So the record is good. Now what about Guy Ritchie and Aladdin?
That's a mismatch right there, isn't it? I have to
It
say
sounds
right there.
weird.
Who decided, we've got this sort of international musical, colorful elephants and genies at Guy Ritchie. It just seems so odd to me, Tim Burton, Dumbo, while I didn't love the movie, that pairing makes sense.
No.
Guy Ritchie? Really?
He says, my stories are about street hustlers.
Okay.
And if you look back at Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels or whatever.
Snatch,
and,
right. Yeah, even Rock and Roll, and even his version of Sherlock Holmes, you could see that sort of street hustler, I suppose, approach to it. So.
Oh well, so the new Aladdin featuring Will Smith
Mm-hmm.
as the genie.
Mm-hmm.
Did Ritchie get anything to work in this?
Boy, I just don't think musical is his genre. What did you think?
I did too. I thought it was a hot mess.
Yeah.
There was so much going on there, and the elephant in the room, of course, is the genie from 1992.
Right.
And so Robin Williams, with his verbal gymnastics in '92, I don't even think I'd accept the part. That people
those are big shoes to fill.
Well,
because I remember when that film came out, people lobbied for him to get an Oscar nomination, and I think that's probably the only voice actor ever so that people seriously considered for Oscar contention. He was amazing, but I feel like I don't actually think that Will Smith was a poor choice.
No.
Because he's got just an abundance of charm and charisma.
Yeah.
And actually, I don't think he did a bad job. The truth that, I was surprised by, he really can't sing.
I know. And you would have thought maybe as a former rapper or whatever that he might. But I was questioning whether it was even his voice.
No, I think it was. But and you know what else? Aladdin. The young man who played Aladdin wasn't much of a singer.
I know. Yeah. Mina Massoud. How would you say?
Would be, I think, Mena Massoud.
Mena Massoud.
And I was surprised by that because I'm not as big a Disney fan as most of them don't sort of tug at my heartstrings the way
Sure.
for a lot of people this is a high watermark for Disney. I'm not a huge fan of the animated original, but one of the things you can give Disney is their vocal talent can sing. And so that's tough when, a lot of the songs, and then the songs from the original, You Never Had a Friend Like Me, and,
Whole New World.
Yeah,
Is it Whole New World?
I don't care for that song.
Okay, well, but isn't that from
That's
the original?
one, yeah,
Right.
those all.
And that's his.
But, yes, it is. And he doesn't do much, Aladdin's. But there are also some new songs that really don't match the tone. They feel like, they feel like current pop songs. And they, so much of it was just whiplash from one scene to the next. I just have to I feel bad. I don't want to beat him up, but I kind of have to you have to lay that at the director's feet, that he can't create a consistent feel from beginning to end.
And you're bringing up one of my problems is the songs just aren't fluid.
No.
You're all of a sudden, let's have a song.
Yeah.
And I have to admit, Naomi Scott is kind of a fetching lead as Jasmine.
And she has a nice voice.
Yes.
Yeah, she was fine. And Jafar, I thought, he did a fine job as well. He doesn't have any songs, which is
Yes.
For me personally, I think the one thing that Disney gets right, for me, my taste, they have good villains. And Jafar is not your top tier villain, but
He isn't. Yeah.
to step into a Disney villain and a live action version, I feel like those are tough shoes to fill too. And I thought he did a nice job.
He did a nice job, although, as you're hinting, and I really felt a bit low key.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, and maybe not old enough.
It's true, because Jafar in the film, he's elderly and sinister, and
Yeah.
has been in the shadows for too long, and he's ready to usurp authority. But I mean, he was the least. I had the least problem with him, and honestly, I had very little problem with Will Smith, to be honest with you.
Right.
Especially during the scenes where he's not, blue and smoky,
Right.
where he takes on human form, because he really is. He's so charismatic
Yeah.
and charming.
I just felt at times he was trying to be way too cute and hip. And again, in my mind, Robin Williams was just looming, and that's
Sure.
it's so unfortunate to do that, because you're absolutely right. You would never say that Will Smith. You would never say that Will Smith spoiled the film. You would say, in fact, he adds some charm to the film.
I wonder if he was so over the top, maybe partly because, of course, he is following in some, a pretty big looming shadow, but maybe also because really the rest of the film lacked some bite, lacked some energy.
It is pretty,
and I don't know if his stood out in comparison, or if he was just trying to bring everything up a level. But
yeah, there are times when they have all the races through the streets and so on that I'm reminded of all the superhero films that we see, where there's so much chasing, but yet the sets are pretty neat.
Yeah, they are.
Pretty beautiful costumes.
Yes, gorgeous, very colorful.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, do we have something that we can recommend to our audience to see here with Aladdin?
I like that there are some changes that they made from the animated original, and that's hard to tell from the trailers. The trailers really make it look like a shot-for-shot remake, and it isn't. And there's much more sort of, they tapped into the kind of burgeoning girl power of the animated original and really amped it up a lot.
Her song, Speechless.
Yes. Yeah, and she's got a much more pivotal. She's not just.
Great point.
She's got a much more pivotal role in sort of the trajectory of the power struggle in the film, which I appreciated.
Yeah. And you're making me think that they probably did a pretty nice job with that, because you can be hammered by that feminist stuff.
Yes.
And just, it was nice. She, and I've known people who have been close to me who are from cultures where a woman is just not counted.
Mm-hmm.
And so that felt right to me.
Mm-hmm.
And that her complaining that she's not being heard, she's speechless, but she's not going to be speechless anymore. But it's softer than I thought that you would have expected it anyway. And I find that he is not up to Aladdin is just not up to it. He's just cute as heck. Young girls are going to really like this guy, but I don't know what kind of energy or whatever.
No, I agree with you.
He's a hustler. Let me get a little bit more of this from him. Get a little bit more from Will Smith.
Yeah.
Give it over to him.
Yeah, it is funny, because one of his songs, is about looking beneath the surface. And I remember when they reprise it, when they go back to it, I thought, there's not really that much there, though, is there? I'd rather see what Jafar is up to right now, to be honest.
I know. And recently a lot of little animals, like cats, and this monkey just didn't do enough for me.
I'm with you. I am. And I wonder, was it like a CGI face that I couldn't get behind? Because honestly, I thought the CGI in this was pretty weak. The way that Will Smith's character, he gets big, he gets little, it floats around. I thought the CGI was not
Right.
particularly impressive.
All right, hope for me.
Mm-hmm.
The real disappointment is that freaking parrot.
Yeah.
What is that thing all about?
I don't know, because Iago was a character in the last film, and a fun character, and in this one, it's just bland.
I know.
And Alan Tudyk was the voice, so I was expecting something fun, and it could have just been a parrot. It really could have just been a trained parrot. It was pretty bland.
Oh
yeah.
dear. Well, it's been 27 years since we had
Wow.
that iconic first one.
Wow.
And not bad, but Hope Madden, the film is Aladdin.
Mm-hmm.
So don't spoil it for all these kids, but what is your grade?
C.
It is. And I'll for its splendor, I'll give it a C+.
Okay.
And this does not mean it wouldn't be enjoyable to take the family to. It certainly is a family picture.
Sure, yeah.
It's just don't mind us old crabby critics.
That's right. Plus, remember, Toy Story 4 is just a couple of weeks out, everybody.
I knew you would slip that in. But you're right. Okay. Okay.